Cat and mouse vipers. Giant child-snatching vipers are terrorizing New Orleans, pulling children from their homes in the middle of the night in their eagerness to take on human trafficking in the city. Cat and mouse find themselves in the thick of it. Crime, action, drama with a smattering of superheroics. Now, like Roland Mann said, our head honcho here at Silverline, go do some backing, and we appreciate your support.
In the heart of a major city, in a place raised to honor Earth's past protectors, the world will again learn, sometimes, superpowered intrigue doesn't stop at the grave. Galaxy Memorial Park, Volume 1, beginning crowdfunding Memorial Day 2025.
All right, welcome to another episode of Geek-Men and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I'm Dustin.
I'm Derry.
And it's
What up?
ADHD Theater.
Looks like they're leaving us on our own again, or
Yeah.
another time. We know this is always great. Hey, there's Mama Pam already in the house.
Howdy. Hey, RPJ, how's it going? So I got an early start and played a few of our ads that I never managed to get to play during our episodes, so that's just some of our sponsors and things like that allow us to keep us rolling and continue putting out content. So.
Allow me to come and try to piss off as many people as possible.
Right. So you got to watch Den of Thieves 2. That's good. Okay. All right.
Well, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. So just diving right in, have you watched anything other than the usual stuff?
I actually started a series on Apple TV called Dope Thief. It's basically, the premise is it's about two friends in Philadelphia who've come up with a scheme to rip off low-level drug dealers to make money. And so they pose as DEA agents. They have like the hats and the jackets. And basically they bust into these houses with these low-level drug dealers and they basically rob them for all the cash that they have. And then they just go back to being normal. Well, not normal, but just citizens. And in the very first episode, they bring in this guy that one of them knew in prison, and he knows of a job a few hours away from him. Like, he's like, well, if you go out in the sticks by us where they're cooking meth, we'll make a whole lot more money. And so the reason why these guys focus on little drug dealers is that, first of all, they don't have enough muscle to come after them. And second of all, it's not like they can go to the cops.
Right.
Say, hey, they ripped me off for, $3,000.
This sounds like a brilliant scheme. We should do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I got the firepower for it. So
there you go.
Not that I'm going to go do it or anything, guys, but
right.
So
we kid here. Okay. Joke around.
At the end of the first episode, shit goes sideways real bad when they go out. They find this house that's a big meth house, and basically they fuck with the wrong people and they shoot somebody that they shouldn't. And because their whole mantra was like no violence. Well, roping in this third guy upset the apple cart. And so far, I think I watched 2 episodes and maybe the third one drops tonight, or I watched 3 and the fourth one drops tonight. But I mean, it's interesting because it's a dramatic show, but at the same time, the lead character, who's played by Brian Tyree Henry, it's very like, it involves his dad, who is Ving Rhames in prison, and then his stepmom adopts him when his dad goes to prison when he's a kid, and they have just this hilarious relationship. And it's funny to watch. At the same time, like, everything's all screwed up. Like, they're trying to get away from the dudes who basically they ripped off in that drug deal, because they stole, like, I forget how much money they said. It's like $500,000 plus all the drugs too they decided to take. So they've got this organization, this big time organization now looking for them. So it's actually, I mean, if you've got Apple TV, I'd say check it out. Like, if you get to the end of the first episode, you'll probably get hooked on it. But
yeah, it sounds interesting. It sounds a lot like, The Gentleman in a certain roundabout. Like, it reminds me of that anyway.
Yeah, it's like an American version of it.
Yeah. What was it called again?
Dope Thief.
Dope Thief. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Dope Thief. Gonna write it down because I know I'll forget in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it's on Apple. Which, did you see what Apple said earlier this week about their online streaming?
No.
They lose $1 billion a year on streaming shows. So I wonder what that means for the future of like the Apple TV service. Is it something they're going to subsidize and keep, or are they going to eventually axe it? Because I mean, to me, they've put out really good content.
Yeah. for sure. And I believe they've said that from the get-go.
Yeah.
I do recall that. But I thought it was just a initial thing, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't
came
know.
up earlier this week, so it's
Yeah.
a topic of conversation again.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know. Incentivize, get more people to watch, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and
It has good stuff on it.
the problem with streaming services is they release content so like inconsistently. And so now where they used to just dump an entire series at one time, now they're starting to figure out, well, we're going to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Release a few episodes and then one per week after that. And the problem with streaming too is shows are only like 6 to 8 episodes now versus the 23 they were back in syndicated TV, and where you had all those shitty filler episodes, like
So many
Smallville seasons, like 20 some episodes, and they'd have like 10 filler episodes in there that didn't advance the storyline at all.
No, but they were usually good.
Oh, well, I loved Smallville, but just the thing is
I get it.
You get a whole season took, 9 months. Well, they might have a 6-week season now. And so it feels like there's these droughts between content, and then people are canceling that one and picking up, they'll cancel Apple, pick up Paramount Plus or Stars or something. So I don't think they've gotten the model right yet for streaming, because even Netflix was struggling with it up until probably 2 years ago.
But don't they still? I think maybe they moved more theatrical. I don't know.
Well, and their flops hurt a lot more too in streaming. When you sink all this money for big stars into movies, and then all of a sudden, like the big Netflix movie flops, like it really hurts them. They don't have 10 other movies in the pipeline. Like they were expecting that movie to bring in a lot of people, and then it's all over the internet that it sucks, which has happened a lot with, Netflix content is progressively getting better when it comes to like movies and stuff. But
yeah, I honestly was surprised at how fast Den of Thieves 2 was on streaming. Because like I looked like recently and it was still in theaters. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll have to circle back around to this movie when it comes out. And then I looked and I see an advertisement saying Den of Thieves 2. And it's just like, dude, I couldn't have timed it more perfectly if I tried.
Dude, I'm telling you, you literally it dropped to be able to rent. And then 2 weeks later, it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And like,
it's crazy.
I actually didn't rent it. I went back and looked. I actually bought it since I had the first one. I just went ahead and bought a copy of it. But had I known it was coming out on Netflix so soon, I would have held off, watched it to see if I actually wanted to buy it. But I've got so much shit in my movie library on Vudu that, I just buy stuff when there's sales, and there's movies in there that I've never watched and I probably never will watch. But I just was like, 2 a.m. This looks like something I would like in my collection. So, but think about how fast it was for that to come out on streaming. When we were kids and a movie was in the theaters, it took a year for it to get on VHS so you could rent it at the video store.
For real,
a friggin' year. And now
was miserable.
Yeah. Digital obviously made all that possible, but damn, man, I remember waiting on Demolition Man literally to drop on video forever.
For me, it was things like, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I don't know. Just throwing it some word.
I remember waiting on The Mask with Jim Carrey forever, because I freaking love that movie. Like, a lot of people will talk shit about The Mask, but I love it. There's so much shit in that movie that's funny.
Yeah. I know Zombie is really big into the comic book Mask, and he has made several comments about how the movie is nothing like the comics. And he can go on rants about it. So I'll save that one to bring
Zombie would never rant about anything.
I'll save that one to bring up for when Zombie's on the episode too, so that way we can have a nice conversation.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So let's see. I'm trying to think what I watched. I've been hanging with the kids because they're on spring break this week, so it was a lot of Disney Channel and then a movie at night. So we've watched Raya, The Last Dragon. There was a couple other ones. I forget what they were now, but I'm sure they'll be able to rattle them to me. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I went back because I've been playing that medieval game. I went back and the other night started Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, because that's, I mean, one of the greatest of all time. And so my wife's starting to sleep, and I turn this shit on. I didn't realize how loud that movie is, like the sound effects in it and the music, like everything. I'm sitting there like, oh God, like I'm going to wake her up. She's going to be pissed off, which she did wake up a couple of times and she wasn't happy because this was like midnight when I put it on. And literally I watched half of it, and everything in the first half of that movie is super loud.
Yeah, dude, the screaming when they're in the prison screaming, they're like,
oh yeah.
It's so loud. It's
cutting off the dude's hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's crazy.
The sizzle of the blade, even. That's just like, oh. It's like, I thought it was just because I didn't have surround sound, so I thought if I had surround sound, it would have like made it quieter.
Oh no,
around, but no, geez, to hear that,
it's like being in a rocket ship. It just starts shaking everything. Which Brightburn tonight, so I didn't get to watch it until about 2 or 3 today.
Yeah,
dude, that movie, like right off the bat, was so loud. My wife was sitting there reading, and I'm like just laying on the couch watching it, and that shit's hitting right at the beginning when the spaceship's coming down, and she's like, "What the hell?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like, it's crazy.
Oh, crazy movie. Well, let's hold that thought. Let's talk about I guess well, we're never talking about this stuff so early. Let's go ahead and talk about Den of Thieves. We don't get the stuff that, I mean, we were 45 minutes in last week before we even got to a movie. Right.
But
I'm just so not used to
it was my return after 6 weeks off, so
there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. But yeah, Den of Thieves 2. Let's jump into it. So do you want to give a rundown, just kind of the overall synopsis, theme, whatever?
Yeah, let's do that. So I guess if you weren't here for last week, the Den of Thieves 1, we watched Den of Thieves 1, and so it has your typical players in it, and they're trying to pull off a heist, and things go sideways, and I don't know. I think we gave it a pretty high rating.
Yeah, I think
didn't we?
Humira and I were at 4, and you were at 3.5. Yeah.
So I want to say it was right up there, but let's see, Den of Thieves 2. So let's see, the main two guys are back, and
so you got Ice Cube's son.
Yeah,
his character, son, which I still never remember his character's name because he used like 5 different names.
Fräulein. They call him Fräulein most of the time.
Yeah, Jean-Jacques, and then his real name from the first movie was Donnie Wilson.
Yeah, Donnie.
Yeah.
But Gerard Butler's character, Nick, calls him Fräulein all the time.
Old Big Nick.
Yeah. So they're back, and it was okay. So basically, just to give you a brief overview, he's still on the hunt for them. Still, Nick is still on the hunt for Donnie's crew, and he's insisting that they actually pulled one over and robbed the main bank. The Fed is what they called it.
Federal Reserve, Los
That's
Angeles.
Right. Yeah. And his higher ups are going like, look, dude, there's no way our government is going to talk about this or give you any kind of extra allocation or
they couldn't prove a crime had happened.
Right.
So,
hey, Matt.
Or that the guy he's looking for committed a crime. Because obviously the other guys committed crimes because they were running with machine guns through the street, shooting at Big Nick and his crew.
Yeah.
But they could never really prove that Donnie Wilson had done anything because the money was out of circulation that they stole.
Yeah. Which, geez.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having that kind of money?
Oh, yeah. Well, so Donnie goes to Europe and basically they set up with this crew a diamond heist.
Which you saw from the very end of the last season when they talked to he's a UFC guy.
I forget who it is.
Gosh. Michael Bisping.
Oh yeah.
they I always have to say it with that accent too, because that's the only way I can remember. Michael Bisping. Anyway, so yeah. Hey Jessica, how's it going? Yeah, so we saw him come in and Jean-Jacques Donnie was like, hey, you work across the street, right? Which was the diamond place. And he's just like, yeah, all right. So you could tell he was already working on the next thing, which we did learn in this movie that, I don't know, some sob story about his dad and all that. And he's just like, yeah, now I have to chase the feeling of, can I do it? Which again, this is also something that bothered me that I want to bring up. Get in and get out without anyone ever knowing. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to come back to that. But what was the rest of the thing you were talking about? You're starting to say
Nick basically there's crimes going on, other heists. He basically connects the dots that it's his guy that's now overseas robbing. So basically he sets it up, pulls a favor, whatever, gets sent over there kind of under the radar to try to infiltrate the group.
Yeah.
Which is something I'm just going to say it right now. I struggled with this movie. I struggled with it because they changed a lot, I feel like, about some of the characters from the first movie. And it almost made me feel like this movie didn't have a villain, because like the villain for the most part was the heist.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end and Gerard Butler was basically undercover the whole time. He gives him up, but then he turns around and rescues him.
Does he though? I don't think he does.
Well, but he tells him he's in on it because he tells him what seat on the bus to sit in. Like he says, like back right or whatever.
Back right.
Yeah, because he knew that was going to happen, and needed him to be in a specific spot because they're going to work for those guys now. Like,
okay, so that's interesting.
Because basically at the end of the movie, he basically says that he's going to see him soon.
Yeah.
And they're going to go work for that damn, like crazy badass criminal.
Yeah. The crazy rich dude.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for getting back my stuff. So we just skipped to the end. So I'm going to circle back around. The thing that I was bugged about was like, his high was essentially getting in and getting out with no one ever knowing he was there. And it's just like, how the F? I mean, if someone walks in there, they're gonna see all the shit that they just tore open and threw on the floor. I was mad about that scene too. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you better be stuffing that into a bag or something. Like, all those valuables and stuff. I get like just leaving the passports or whatever, because those aren't valuable, I don't think, unless you try to ransom them, which what's the point in that? But like all the jewels and stuff like that, it's like, come on.
I have an opinion on that because there's a phenomenon that I experience, and so I'm going to use video games as an example.
Okay, I'm listening.
So like I'm playing this RPG right now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start out and I'm stealing stuff, I steal everything, even if it's low dollar amount, because I have no money.
Right.
But once I get to, let's just say $1,000, I stop stealing everything. And I'm like, I only want to go for the bigger pieces, the bigger value, because I don't want to have to take the time to fence out a bunch of little shit because I can't sell it because it's just anybody because it's stolen. So I start going after just the bigger stuff. I think like on their jobs, like they don't want to worry about that. And so they're going in with a singular purpose to make like this big score, and they don't want the headache of having to deal with all that little loot and trying to fence it off and everything. Cause I mean, it's a bitch trying to sell that stuff. I mean, I've never done it.
Right. Not that we would.
You got to find the right people who are going to buy it from you and then turn around and peddle it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one, I could see how you would just go in there with that, looking for that one big payoff. But then again, you're thieves.
Right. They're thieves. And
there's probably hundreds of thousands of dollars just laying there on the ground.
Right. And their initial target they saw was in this thing. But when they went in, they saw that it wasn't there. So why wouldn't they just go ahead and scoop up all the cash and just have it be a simple, cash grab or whatever? You're in there, right? I don't know. So that was like, plus he just said, the whole spiel about, it's the high of getting in and getting out without anyone knowing they were there. But it's like, someone's going to know they're there. Someone was going to know
or have been there. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have been there. And not to mention the I don't know, like the stupid rod that they used to crawl across to the other side of the building. They fell on the ground. It's like, someone's going to see that and know that something was up. Something was going on, which they did. And they went up to the roof. But I don't know. So
I think, so my opinion, RPJ, I mean, this is two movies that are completely different. And I feel like they sacrificed some of Big Nick's like drive to solve crime. Like, I get it. He kind of turned sides here to catch the guy. But to me, that wasn't his style. Like, that was something, he's not an infiltrator. He's like a attack dog that just relentlessly pursues you. And I kind of felt like it was out of character the way they used him and the way this story went. And I felt it really cheapened it at the end because like he's basically turning bad.
Yeah.
And I think that doesn't serve the character well. Like he needs, I would actually rather see if they do a 3, which it looks like they're planning on it, even though this one didn't really perform all that well based off its budget. I would rather see him go back home and them actually explore a little bit more of like his life after the divorce, like all that, while
which
juggling that while
finalized.
going after another set of thieves or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the dynamic between Donnie and Nick. So I'm fine with him. It's almost like the 10-second car, you know, you owe me a 10-second car. Like, it's all, again, it's too much. They're probably wanting to avoid this because it's too much like copying another franchise, Fast and the Furious. But I honestly, I'm for that. Like, I think they work well together. And if they don't do this, I would like to see them form their own task force to hunt, like independent task force to hunt people. Like, I think that would be fun.
I would have rather them just dropped O'Shea Jackson Jr. and just had another movie with a different style of thief that they're going after in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
To me, in the first movie, he was the least interesting part of the thief group because I liked Pablo Schreiber and 50 Cent.
Yeah.
And
I loved Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah. How aggressive they were.
Mm.
And the double cross at the end of the first one was a good idea, but I wasn't interested in seeing Donnie again as a villain, which then when I went into this one, I was just like, wasn't feeling it even from the time they announced this movie. So this movie for me did not work anywhere near as well as the first one. I just liked the dynamic of the pit bull Big Nick going after that group in the first movie. In this one, I feel like they changed it too much. Like The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals are carbon copy of the same movie. So they're too similar as, connected movies. This one, I just felt like it was too different to the point where they changed my favorite character too much.
Yeah, well, that's because they killed him off in the last one.
I'm talking like, so Big Nick's probably my favorite character out of the first movie. And it just felt like they changed him too much. And like he was willing to do anything to catch the thieves, and to catch bad guys in the first movie. And yeah, he does that in this one, but then I'm telling you at the end, he's going to work for that guy.
Yeah.
Like him and Donnie. So it felt like they're kind of cheapening his character by all of a sudden now he's going to be a bad guy. Like he's got 2 kids in the United States. Like you're going to go start robbing
really
shit
want anything to deal with.
Yeah, but
they don't really want anything to do with them.
I don't know, man. I just don't think the type of guy like that's the move that he makes, but
maybe not.
To each their own.
But I mean, like the other thing people's bitch and moan about is Boba Fett. And he's too much of a pussy, now that he got his tribe or whatever. It's like, it's called character evolution. Like you're seeing him go through and evolve under, intense pain and suffering and stuff like that. So you're going to see different emotions be brought out in him, but he can still be badass when the time comes to it. And I think that's what they're trying to go for here. Like, they show him, they show a little bit more of his partier side as opposed to the first one where it's just assumed, he parties a little bit, has fun. He clearly, enjoys Donnie's company and hanging out with him. So I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes from here. Pop says he wants to see them go after the artifacts in the Vatican.
Here we go.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
I want to see them steal the Declaration of Independence.
I feel like that's been done a time or two, but I don't
Probably.
know. Nick Cage would have to join.
Oh God.
Oh man, I feel like Nick Cage is always gonna have something going on.
Let's see here. Are they the same director? So Christian Gudegast did this one. And then the original one was done by... Yep, it's the same director. I think it's the same. Yeah, same writers too. So the director is one of the writers, okay. And then there's another guy. Oh, but I mean, this movie had a, let's see here. I mean, I wouldn't consider it overly successful. It had a $40 million budget. It did $57 million worldwide. So it recouped its budget worldwide, yeah. But I think they expected it to do more than that, and it just wasn't there.
I don't know. I hadn't even heard of Den of Thieves until recently. It completely flew under the radar for me, and I'm a big Gerard Butler fan. So you would think that I would have heard something about it, especially since, I mean, I have the little follow button on IMDb. So I don't know. It's weird, but hey, I mean, making your budget back is more than fair.
Oh yeah, what's better than Snow White?
Oh, what a train wreck!
Another Disney project that's burning to the ground.
Yeah, it's so much fun, and this is going to sound horrible, but it's so much fun to watch their Snow White burn. It's just entertaining.
Well, the problem is Disney gave the middle finger to their fans.
Right.
For the last 5 years, basically, all of us who grew up watching Disney movies, you know, loved Lion King. I mean, freaking all the live action stuff that they did back then. Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up watching like the 1960s and 70s stuff because my parents loved it. So, yeah. But then they started pissing in the faces of their fans, the kids who grew up watching them, because they wanted to put out some agenda and force feed everybody shit that they didn't want. And people started choosing with their wallets. That's what happens. And now the problem is too, is the quality has really suffered.
For sure.
Because they focused on the wrong things. Instead of going after writers who would write what they wanted, they should have went after writers who were actually quality and had good ideas. And they've done the same thing across the board with who they pick to direct, all that shit. And so
what's up?
I don't think it's bad. I'm glad to see them burn. I love when companies fail that don't take care of their customers, because that's what should happen.
Right. So someone sent me something earlier today, and it's the Mirror Mirror on the Wall song. And that has been my favorite thing to come out of this whole thing. And it's just like, yeah, okay. All the memes and everything, they're great. Like, I found a meme between it's Goku and Vegeta saying, "Hey, let's go fight somewhere where no one is at, so no one gets hurt." And then it shows Snow White on the screen, and they're fighting, and it's just like, heck yeah, right? Oh,
yeah, and
for sure.
One of the things that really pisses me off is the level of entitlement from the actors of, hey, I don't give a shit about pleasing you. Like, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want. I'm going to, And unfortunately, that's not the real world. When you work for a company or you're building a brand, you represent that brand. And if you go off spouting shit that people don't like, they're going to boycott you. And I mean, that's exactly what's happening. And I mean, it's just to the breaking point where people are done putting up with it. And I mean, I stopped going to see shit like that in the theaters a long time ago because I was like, well, I'll just choose with my wallet. I'll just go see stuff that I think's worth going and seeing in the movie theater.
So, I'm sure you saw the announcement for Doomsday this week, right? Okay, well, they announced all of the cast that's going to be in the next big Marvel Avenger movie, and it was literally just camera aimed at chairs, and every now and then they would put out another chair, and people would freak out about it. Fast forward to the end, and it's like, I don't know. I'm so skeptical about this movie. It's like, I hope it's good for their sake, but I don't know.
It'll be a dumpster fire.
Right. I don't know.
When you can't take a iconic villain like Doctor Doom and build the story around the original like version of Victor Von Doom, and you're going to play this Tony Stark switcheroo, which has to happen because why would you go after RDJ and have him be Victor Von Doom and Tony Stark? Like, this whole multiverse shit needs to stop. Like,
yeah,
it's old now.
It is. It is really. I feel like Deadpool, like, it should have died with Deadpool. But I don't know.
So,
I get the purpose of having Deadpool and the whole TVA thing. Like, the TVA is getting very old in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's permeating every single piece of their property
and other properties.
HMPD agent Josh Perry, who is better to be playing as Doctor Doom? I would take Cillian Murphy all day, or Cillian Murphy all day as a Victor Von Doom.
Absolutely. I thought he should be playing Doom from the get-go. I mean, so so I don't know, like, even the original casting I thought was good from the 90s or late 2000s,
like early 2000s.
Yeah,
the dude from Nip Tuck.
Yeah, I thought
that guy's
was
an
good.
asshole enough.
Yeah, I don't know, but
it just, I mean, and I am very cautiously optimistic about the Fantastic Four movie.
Yes, I think it looks good. But
well, that's one of Marvel's best properties, in my opinion, comic book wise. And if they fuck up the Fantastic Four again, it just, I don't know. I just think the MCU's going down in flames, no matter what you do.
Let's see. So Grey Wolf says, I don't even do superhero stuff. All my work is 1920s, 1930s film style noir horror. I mean,
well, good for you. Stay there and be happy, because if you come back into this world, you want to fucking kill yourself.
Right. It should be like the same, like the first one. Okay.
But there's nothing that Disney is doing that excites me. Nothing.
Well, Werewolf by Night. I still haven't seen that. Probably should at some point, but I don't know. It just came when I was overly sick of everything Marvel and was like, I don't really feel like watching this, so I didn't. But I I was going to say something else, but what was it? Where was my brain a second ago? For me, it's the same like the first one. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, well. The train has left the building on that thought, but anyway. I'm optimistically hopeful for Fantastic Four, like you said. I think they did good casting-wise. I have my gripes about, Pedro Pascal and the Invisible Woman, whatever her name is. I forget her name.
Vanessa Kirby.
Yeah, Vanessa Kirby. But because I'm on the bandwagon of everyone. It should have been the dude from The Office.
John Krasinski.
Yeah, Krasinski.
I would have really liked to see that.
And his wife should have been Invisible Woman, because they basically teased us with it in one of the Marvel projects. I forget what it was now.
Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, something like that.
Because it had him.
Yes.
Scarlet Witch just obliterates them.
Yeah, and it's just like, why do that? And it's like, you just wasted a really good, but I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they'll do good. It looks good, but I don't know. Just like Superman, James Gunn's Superman coming out in July.
Very, very cautious,
but hopeful. Because I don't want to see it fail and then have to do another reboot somewhere down the line. And it's like, I don't want this to happen. I want to have a good Superman movie, so that way I can be proud to have Superman on my wall everywhere. I
think that's a good segue. Speaking of Superman, we should probably jump into Brightburn.
Oh yeah, right.
And hit Brightburn.
Yeah, so yes, Superman. It's basically Superman if he had been crashed on Earth and didn't have his, Ma and Pa Kent to raise him. What would it have been like?
And I don't know if that's fair, because really what fucks him up is the ship.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
He's a good kid. Everything seems to be going good until that ship starts talking to him, and then he loses his mind.
Yeah, he really does. But I don't know. I don't know. They're maybe it's just me thinking about him in general, especially how he acts with his dad, who is from The Office, by the way. He's the fiance of Pam.
Oh, yeah. See, I remember him from the movie 13 Hours. He was one of the contractors in Benghazi. Boone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that. But, wait a second. What's this? Brightburn is false advertisement? What?
I mean, that's the way I kind of understood what it was going to be. That basically he was rejected.
Very much like Red Sun type Superman. And it's like, okay, sort of like Red Sun if you read that comic. But
so it wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a good movie. But I was expecting it to be a little more in depth of how he turned to being like an evil little shit. And it was more about all of a sudden, this ship starting to jack with him, and he's trying to figure out where he came from. And it's making him go into these trances, and he's doing stuff he shouldn't be doing. And I thought it was going to be less of that and more of the whole society piece that Matthew brought up. He's rejected, and
or experimented on, or
his parents aren't able to cope with that. And it just, I thought it was going to be a little bit more in depth on that side versus, I mean, it was billed as a horror Superman movie, which it was. I mean, a young Clark Kent. Yeah. I mean, when he just blasts through the sheriff and just splatters his body all over everything.
Right.
And then the scene with the dude's jaw, God, that was jacked up.
Right. Myra and I were like, oh, holy crap, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because we had seen it before in the movie theater. Yeah, and I knew that it was coming up, so I thought it would be good to bring it on last week's episode. So
I don't know. It almost felt like it was too simple. He was bullied a little bit, but it wasn't like what he went through. Like, God, I've seen kids go through way more than that. Like, if you were trying to make us feel like he was bullied, they didn't do a good job of establishing like how bad it was.
No.
It just, I mean, it's basically a 90-minute movie. Like, I just don't feel like in 90 minutes they got enough across to make me. I mean, I understand why he went bad. I just don't think it was the greatest vehicle for it.
It would have been better had it. What I would do to improve the movie is I would actually have him be experimented on and stuff like that. And so I feel more like it should be like a Superboy type-esque movie where he's being experimented on and all this stuff, and they're poking and prodding and doing all
like
this
a
stuff,
young Homelander.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that would have clearly, we see what Homelander's like now. I feel like that would have been a good story for Brightburn. But instead, we got what we got. I personally liked it. But we haven't even talked about the first one here. I
figured we'd just rate them both at the same time since I skipped
we
over
can.
that.
Yeah,
but,
we certainly can.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, it was a cool movie. I liked the idea. I just wish they would have tweaked a few things about the story. I don't really like Elizabeth Banks as his mom. She is not, doesn't strike me as a Martha Kent-ish type.
Motherly.
Yeah, she's LA and they're trying to make you believe that she's a farm mom in Kansas. They could have probably picked a better actress to make me see that. I thought the dad was good as the dad. None of the other actors and actresses really mattered because they just got demolished. The uncle, it was bothering me, like what I remembered him from, because he has that really distinct voice. He was Badger in Breaking Bad, and it was bothering the shit out of me the whole movie. I couldn't think of where I'd seen him before. And he was Badger, and I was like, oh shit, man, that's why. So you want to rate Den of Thieves?
Now we'll rate them both at the end here. I'm not ready to stop talking about Brightburn just yet.
Okay, hit it.
Genius dedicated to killing Brightburn. Yeah. Oh, yes, that goes with this comment. Deleted scene would have revealed that the little girl was Lex Luthor of the world, and she dedicated her life to killing Brightburn. Yeah, I get it. Yep. I will start this so that way we come back to it here in a second. But so I liked the movie. I really liked the movie. I really do want there to be a sequel that is people trying to like take him out, because we know the ship can kill him or hurt him at least. And it's like, we just need to make sure he gets his hand. Someone gets their hands on that ship and go after him. But I
mean,
think
it's a
that would be.
It would be kind of a cool follow-up movie, and the movie's budget was $6 million, so it was a low budget movie.
Yeah,
and it like more than quadrupled its budget. So, I mean, it didn't have a lot of like big special effects, all that kind of stuff. So, they could, in the first weekend, it made 33% over its budget. So they recouped all their money.
I was part of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's feasible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, and especially, I know it's never going to happen now because the guns are tied up in Superman and the DC world. But
well, see, I thought this was a James Gunn movie. His brothers wrote it, and it was David Yarovesky that directed it. See, for some reason, I thought that James Gunn had either wrote it or directed it.
Yeah,
but he produced it.
In retrospective, I thought that too. So I was thinking about that too. But I think it was from the Gunn, from the people who brought you Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like that was, if I'm thinking back on to the early movie trailers, it was probably something along those lines that made me immediately think of James Gunn, but it wasn't. So, but again, as I said, hopeful that Superman doesn't flop. Sidebar, it did get early screened and apparently was met with applause, so to speak. Yeah. But yeah, and I'm sure that kid thought he was being good too, despite breaking that girl's arm and everything else like that.
Well, I think he was just going through the change,
right?
Like his testes were dropping and he just wasn't handling it well.
Clearly, I mean, and it was so creepy. Like when his dad was out in the field, like having the talk, and he's just like, right now. And first of all, it's just like, well, no, not right now. I mean, I'm not a girl. Like, don't be looking at me. Like, no. That was like my initial thought. It's just like, oh wait, no, don't go out and treat girls like urge and satisfy your urges like that. It's like, come on, dude. But yeah. Let's scroll back up here. Where is the there we go. Nope. There we go. Okay. So here is let's start with Den of Thieves. What do you have for this movie?
So I rated the first one a 4. This one's a 3. I mean, it's something that I would watch it again. Probably because I liked the first one so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, it's just it was just average, like just a good, entertaining movie that I don't feel like it lived up to the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we watched this last night for the Madness movie of the week, and Pops rated it a 3.5. And he said, I liked 2, then hated it, then liked it again. So, because he was saying his potential ratings. But let's see, where is it again? I need to figure out how to media then. Okay, so I'm gonna say 3.5. No, yeah, a 3.5. Yeah. So I'll give it a 3.5 just because I'm hopeful for another one. Because I believe I rated it 3.5 as well last week, right?
I think so.
Something like that. So I'm hopeful for another one, and I think Pumira said that she was going to rate it a 4, but she always changes her mind after we talk, so who knows?
Peer pressure.
Right, I guess. All right, so now Brightburn. What did you think of Brightburn?
So this one I actually struggled with looking at the list because I like the concept so much.
Mm-hmm.
And really, other than how they presented how he went bad or what led to that, other than that, I thought the movie was really good and really well done, especially when I saw what the budget was. I was like, damn, like they did a lot with virtually nothing. I mean,
yeah,
some of those actors were making peanuts, apparently, which, I mean, none of them were huge names. So,
yeah,
I mean, most of them are B-list actors anyway that don't carry their own, haven't carried their own movies. So, I wouldn't even say Elizabeth Banks is somebody that could carry a movie on her own. But I would probably say 3.5 for me on this one. I think they did a really good job. I think you make some tweaks to it and it gets it to a 4.
Yeah.
It would have to be a much larger scale for me to ever like think that it was a really great story about a bad Superman. You'd have to blow it up to a humongous scale to where it's like a global conflict. Like you're seeing him laser the world to death from space, like that one picture he drew.
Right. And I mean, because that is essentially what would be happening. Like they would need to, figure out a way to either nuke him. Like I want to see, like, would a nuke actually do anything to him, or is he that impervious? Because we saw that he clearly didn't have X-ray vision, unlike Superman. Because otherwise, he would have just been able to see through their walls and then take out their guts,
too.
Yeah, and no hearing. So, so it's like those two things are probably a weakness for him. Like, and I would like to see them exploit that. So it's like, just how impervious is it? Is it that he can't be hurt, or he just needs to have a big enough explosion and then he'll get hurt? Or is it like the later in life he gets, like he will become more indestructible, like kind of like Superman, where in Kingdom Come he's virtually between the kryptonite getting taken out into outer space and what's left, and he's just essentially impervious to kryptonite now at one point in the in the comic. But anyway, so it's interesting thoughts about that. But yeah, I don't know. So I would say 3.5 stars. Like you said, it would need to have some minor tweaks to be a 4 or 5 in my book, and that's I probably have, not having just seen it, if I had rated it last week, I was ready to rate it a 4. Like because that's how, looking back, I was
rose-colored
like,
glasses.
Wow. Right.
Yeah.
Because I just remember walking out of the theater thinking like, man, this was such a good movie, and just seeing this. I mean, I remember doing. I used to do these little bits, like short form videos, where I pretended to be like a hillbilly reviewing movies, and he can't figure out technology, and he's always talking about this fangled contraption and all that stuff, confounded, or all this stuff. So anyway, I remember doing those, and I was said he just needs a whipping. And I just remember having so much fun with that after the movie, and just the high of it all. I would have rated it 4, but yeah, after watching it, and especially after seeing Homelander now and things like that, it's just like, yeah, it could have been better, but you know.
And I think the thing to point out is we're rating on a 5-point scale. So a 2.5 is an average movie to me that I won't turn off, that I will sit through, but it's just kind of average. And, you know, you get below a 2.5, then I'm like shutting the shit off.
Yeah.
Part of the way through it. So, you know, 3.5 is actually on the positive side of the scale. Now, you know, they probably wish they made a 4 or a 5, but it just didn't work out. But the thing is you're working with $6 million,
right?
Like, you're not going to hit a home run with you're not going to hit a home run on $6 million very often. But for that budget, this is a very solid movie.
Yeah, for sure. I would have to agree. So let's see. Let me read this. We need another of the shows with Equalizer movies. Oh, okay. Another one of these shows with Equalizer. Yeah, we might be able to do that at some point. We actually already have our movies picked out for next week. And boom. The Electric State on Netflix, and Real Steel. And wasn't that on Tubi?
Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi.
Yep.
Yeah, Tubi for Real Steel and Electric State.
Real Steel was a movie that I had zero interest in ever watching. Zero. Yeah. When I saw the previews for it, I was like, this kind of looks like crap. Like, and I'm a Hugh Jackman fan, everything. Then I watched the movie, and it's literally this generation's Over the Top. Like, when I was a kid, Over the Top was Sylvester Stallone, the arm wrestling movie. That shit was badass. Like, a guy getting to know his kid, like, all this stuff. Like, they go through all these trials and tribulations, and then at the end, he wins it all. Fucking, I watched Real Steel and was like, totally changed my opinion. Like, completely. Like, it is probably one of my, probably in my favorites list, at least, of those type of movies. So, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I think you'll like it. Absolutely. You probably were like me and was like, I would never watch that. And then
right, it's like, who wants to watch a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie? This is not a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie.
Well, they did such a good job making you get invested in the robot.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I'm super excited to talk about that one.
For sure. And the other movie is nothing to scoff about either. They have Millie Bobby Brown in it, and what is that?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Yeah. I was trying to figure out which one of the Chris's it was. But yeah, so
I mean, we'll see. Did Netflix, get the formula right and put together a good movie on this one? When I saw, like, I was flipping through Netflix and I landed on it and it plays kind of the auto plays the preview, I was like, man, that's got a Real Steel vibe, which is Dustin and I were talking about that. And we're like, we need to watch those together. So
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So I was like, oh yeah. But what does this say? So he says, Matt says he liked Electric State. Oh, it's good to know.
Well, I'm going into it with,
zero expectations.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to it versus just being like, oh God, I got to watch that movie.
Nah. Yeah. I mean, I find it best if I'm watching it like with zero expectations, like just on the lowest of low. Like, I hope I enjoy this movie, and then I turn it on. that way I'm not thinking like, oh God, I don't want to watch this movie. Oh God. And then having to figure out like, oh, all right, this is okay. Like halfway through, I just find it better to not have that mentality going into it. So yeah, hopefully we'll see that and watch those movies and join us back next week to talk about them. And then, of course, Monday, we're going to have our show. I don't have it up, but we're going to have a show Monday, I believe. And I'll be posting about that at some point. And then, of course, if you haven't seen, you need to come and just watch, or at least watch at some point and then laugh at me. I'm having a good time with Pops and Lori and Christopher Brown. They're running this RPG campaign in Slaughterville. It's hosted by Laughing Rogue and Christopher Brown, and it's been a fun time. I talked about it last week, and I had a fun week this week. I actually blew the brains out of a zombie. It's like, yeah, I had my gun and I was like, yeah, blew the brains out. It's like, that was fun. And I shot up a werewolf or wolf. I'm not sure. It was some sort of wolf, but yeah, so I had a good time. So you should either join me in the campaign or dairy or at least watch, just to laugh at me. But yeah, I think that's everything for this week. Sorry if I'm not remembering something that I should be remembering.
I think we hit it all.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, we normally have so much more to talk about, and we get off topic so often that it's hard to keep track. And it's like, we actually did a pretty good job tonight.
We should be commended.
Yes, we really should. But yeah, until next week. Do you have anything you want to say? Any parting words? Derry doesn't care. I am
good.
All right.
And I don't care. It's true.
Let me find the stupid thing. Where'd it go? Here we go. All right. Until next week. Thunder Nerds Ho.
Tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right. Scroll through the list, find what you need. Epic battles and fast-paced speed. From capes to cosmic space delight. Tune in and watch your favorites ignite. On Facebook, share the thrill so grand. On X, the buzz across the land. Madness Comic Network all around. In every episode, joy is found. uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun, join the craze. Madness Comic brightens days. New uploads, they never end. Superheroes and their friends catch every twist and every turn. Madness Comic, you will yearn. Stay up to date with every twist. Madness Comic, don't miss a gist. From laughter to tears, every mood. Madness Comic sets the groove. Click that button and subscribe. Catch the wave and ride the tide. Join the fun,